A warm welcome to Disky Talk with Luyolo. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, we discuss all things Orlando Pirates as we have a special feature-focused episode. However, before we get into that, I would like to introduce a returning guest who goes by the name of Fenzo. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's head right into it, Fenzo. So, as we do know, it is currently the break. And you'd like to think that Orlando Pirates are working on a couple of things with regards to them returning back before we do kickstart the DStv Premiership again, as it is currently the AFCON break as well. And yeah, but the big question then with Orlando Pirates is going forward, what changes would you like to see with regards to the technical team? Do you think that the co-coaches are good? Do you still want to give them time? Or do you feel like Orlando Pirates should go out and appoint a coach? And if so, which coach?
I think, yeah, in terms of the technical team, I'm a bit split. I'm in very different minds, but there's one person I'm sure about, and that is Fadlu Davids. I think Fadlu Davids, his time has come to just leave our Orlando Pirates. I think he has been here in too many eras. You know, when you spend a long time and nothing has really come out of it to a certain extent, I think maybe it's time to just cut your losses and try something different, because he was there in the Coach Rulani and Mitchell era. He was there under Joseph Zimbabwe, also under Coach Rulani. So it's now the fourth regime. And yeah. So also, I also think the top management, the top brass also see that, because he has been there for 3 regimes. Why not give him the job at the first time of asking? Why not give him the permanent job? So I think that is the thing that we're facing here. So I think in terms of Coach Fadlu Davids, I think his time is up. In terms of Coach Mandla Ncikazi, I think this job came too soon for him, if I'm being honest. I think he's a quality coach, but you know, I think his season that put him truly on the map is that his last season with Golden Arrows, and I still think he's a quality coach, but also I don't think he has the achievements nor pedigree to come and deal with a big team such as Pirates, because Pirates is a team that needs a coach who rules with an iron fist, a person who comes with a person who comes in with his qualifications and achievements, so that he can make sure he knows what he demands, and even when it goes to buds in terms of transfers. Because you know there's a lot of politics involved. There's so much intricacies in our teams.
Yeah.
So I think that is the thing. That might be a problem for him. So that might be a problem for him. So I think it's about that. So I think he's still a quality coach. I'd most probably maybe try to keep him around as an assistant coach, maybe. But I think that it's time for a new head coach to come in and take over Orlando Pirates and take us to greater heights.
Yeah. So when you have a look at the whole co-coaches system, it's not something that I really advocate for. You know, I just always feel that when it comes to football, I'm cut from the traditional cloth, because I don't know, I always believe that you need one head coach. You know, you need somebody who is at the helm, who is in charge, you know. However, with the modernization of the game and how the game is developed, it is something that we're starting to see. We're starting to see a trend, you know. So I just think that with Orlando Pirates, they have to come to a decision and make a decision. Who is the head coach? You know, you can't have a co-caretaker, assistant coaches. Even that just sounds long and weird, you know.
Yeah.
But they just need to come to a decision with regards to appointing a coach. And during this break, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happening, you know, because when you have a look at the team, yes, the log might read one thing, but if we're to sit and thoroughly analyze the games as isolated incidents, was thoroughly analyze players and analyze everything holistically, so you get to realize that Pirates haven't been doing well, There's nothing to write home about, And when you have a look at them with regards to the squad that they have and some of the players that they have, they should be doing a lot better, And at times they just don't inspire confidence. And I think it largely boils down to the technical team, because what I was disappointed with within the first half of the season was the squad selection. What I was disappointed with was man management at times, which is something that can improve from that perspective. So I think Orlando Pirates going forward need to actually go out and appoint a coach. If you were to appoint a coach, who would it be?
I don't really have a specific name, to be honest, because, we've tried in South Africa and, I think obviously we know I'm well versed more in the big leagues in terms of Europe and even in terms of Europe. So obviously, Pirates, you can't fetch a coach of that caliber. Unfortunately, I would have loved it to be so. Maybe Pep Guardiola. We don't know. Maybe you can negotiate something. I'm kidding, but yeah. I think, there have been people suggesting Coach Gavin Hunt. Personally, I'm not a big fan. I'm a person who believes in beautiful front foot attacking football. I do not like pragmatic football. Even counter-attacking football, it's to a certain extent. I just don't like the brand of football that Coach Gavin Hunt plays, even though he brings the results. But I'm as a person who watches at least 90% of the games throughout the season for Pirates, I do not want, even though we're going to be winning, I do not honestly want to be subjected to that. If I'm being honest, even initially under the coach Zimbabwe days, I was one of those people. Even though we won the M28, I was not really convinced by him, because I could see that the football that we're playing is, obviously we watch football to get in to win as a team, but also I want that entertainment element, because I'm taking 2 hours out of my day that I could have used to do something else by watching the team. So I want to also be entertained to a certain extent. I understand that it can't be done every single weekend, but you need to put in effort for that. So I think that is my fundamental problem with Coach Gavin Hunt. So personally, maybe he might bring the results, but it's not for me. I'll be looking, because I'm being more general. I'm gonna put in a more of a generalization. I'll be looking to bring in someone from South America, a coach that plays front foot attacking football. I think someone who goes attack first, defense last. That is the way of play that I believe in, and especially looking at the PSL, where the only team that you need to be generally scared are most probably 3 teams out of other 15 all the 15 teams that you're gonna play. And you don't, I know it's a cliche, but you don't necessarily need those points against those 3 teams. And you can't, obviously, you only lose 6 games against those 3 teams. And now you're looking with the rest of the 12. Now you can get majority, because you attack them. So hence I am of the belief, I think that the PSL is a league that actually allows us to do that. So I don't know who's that. I don't know that, but I'm just bringing a general idea of that type of coach that I would love, and maybe also looking someone maybe in Africa who's done the routes in Africa. Maybe go the Micho type route. Someone who's done the routes in Africa, who also plays attacking football, but also has experience in Africa. I think that is what I'll be looking in for a coach.
So, you've mentioned then what you see and what you like with regards to the game model and what would you like to impose. So returning then to the DStv Premiership and say that everybody is fully fit. Which is your strongest 11 for Orlando Pirates?
My strongest 11 for Pirates, I think it will be a 3-4-2-1, come a 4-4-2. I think if you're looking at it in terms of the 4-4-2 form, it will be like here you go. Okay, let me be delicate with this, and then you go in terms of its form in terms of a 4-4-2. You'll be looking like this. You'll be looking at it like this, and then just to begin with it, in goals, I'd actually be looking for something different, because Richard Ofori hasn't been seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Mbonjani as he hasn't been convincing, if I can't lie. And Sunderland, you know, Sunderland. He has been solid at times, but I'll be making a big call because we've seen the proof that many of our goalkeepers haven't performed. So obviously the first option is to someone, but we'll come later to it. So I'd be going for the young MDC goalkeeper, Tuntsane. I'll be going for Tuntsane in goals, which, as I know people won't expect it, but that is what I'd be looking for. Right back, I'd be looking for Thabiso Munyane. I'll be looking to institute Thabiso Munyane here. Two centre backs, you have Olisanda, and then you have my captain. Actually, I'll be looking down off the left, and then off the right, you have my captain, the captain, Jele. And then left back, Dion Hoto. Personally, many people will be asking me, in a 4-4-2, how could you play Hoto as a left back? I just don't believe Hoto is a left winger in a big team. I think that is one sentiment. Because if you look at Hoto has been playing mostly as a left wing back in a 3-5-2, come 3-4-2-1. And he's been wasting chance after chance. He's been able to get himself into these great positions coming around here, but then he tends to miss these opportunities. Sometimes decide to go selfish, hit the side netting, go above but instead of passing to other teammates. So I think, but still, his ability to cross and his great pace, I still think that it's still gonna be something that we can use, but from a deeper role. And I still think because he has that recovery pace, and I think for the fact that it will also transition into a back three, it will be able to help him in terms of his defensive frailties. So hence I'll be looking to institute him at left back. And then you come in, and then I'm gonna play right wing back. I'm gonna play Thabiso Munyane. Thabiso Munyane is one of those players that I just love. I don't know why he got demoted to the MDC. I asked myself why he got demoted to the MDC, but he's one of those players that I'm really a big fan of. I love him as a player, and yeah, he's also impressed me in the MDC, even though he's been playing quite an advanced role, but as you know, attacking front foot attacking football.
Yeah.
You have your midfield pairing. You have off the right, Goodman Musele. Goodman Musele is a quality box-to-box midfielder, someone who's be able to progress the ball, able to carry the ball forwards, and also be able to help you in terms of your defensive solidity. And then you have Nkanyiso Zungu. Koboza Mtanam, one player that people will be surprised also to see in this lineup, who hasn't really played for Pirates in a while. He is one of my favorite players. He's a deep lying playmaker, someone who likes to most probably come in here. He's able to dictate tempo, spread the passes through here into vertical zone 1, sometimes into the half spaces, and also in and around zone 14. He's someone who's able to pass and just control the game for Pirates. And I just believe that the coaches should be giving Nkanyiso Zungu his chance. And I think that double pivot, I only saw this double pivot in one game, and I believe it was the Maruma Gallant's game. And I think they were so exceptional in that midfield, as a midfield pairing. And I'll be looking for us to continue instituting them. And then you have, off the left, you have Vincent Malia Lepool, someone who had quite a down season last season, but who has quality coming beginning of the season before he got his injury. He had 4 goals, as I said in a previous episode, 4 goals, 4 assists in 6 games. So I believe he's someone that will be able to help you, who's able to help you in terms of everything that you need from a winger, can cross, can also pass a bit, and just give you everything that you need. And it's also hardworking. He's also going to give you in terms of pressing and stuff. So then you have the star player, the man of the moment, the player that the team needs always, Thembinkosi Lodge.
Yeah.
When you look at Thembinkosi Lodge is someone who's able to drift, who's gonna love to play in the half spaces, drifting in around zone 14, who is the hub of this Orlando Pirates team. Nothing that is brilliant attacking wise. Almost everything goes through him, as he's the hub of this team. I think in around zone 14, you have the half spaces. I think he's someone who's gonna be able to drift inside there, who's able to dominate those areas, and I think that is the one player that is gonna be needed if Pirates want to be a serious team again.
Yeah.
And then you have your two strikers. You have Kabadinho Mango. Kabadinho Mango is someone who has been isolated out of the team. You know, he also has had his problems, but I still think that Kabadinho Mango is someone that can give you different things, that is able to help you in certain situations. So Kabadinho Mango is also going to help you when you push up Lodge here. Kabadinho Mango is also comfortable spreading off to the right sometimes to just make a bit of space for Lodge to come and operate into these half spaces and then make those diagonal runs inside here and look to score. You have then your left striker is someone that I know Pirates fans are aggrieved with for the fact that he hasn't really been scoring goals. But Kwame Pepper, I'll have Kwame Pepper, even though I also still think that the young boy Radiopani must also be given his chance to play and show his talents. But also Kwame Pepper, I still think also Kwame Pepper. I think because he's also a quality player in terms of his being able to show us in terms of his link-up play. I think his fundamental problem has been his finishing, and I always maintain that. I don't get why you play him as a long striker. I believe that he's someone who loves to have people in and around him. Hence why you play him in a two-striker formation. You have people in and around him, people who he's going to link up play with, and he's also be able, as you saw in the game against Marumo Gallants, he's also going to be coming, drift, make those runs inside here, and then maybe look to shoot from the edge of the six-yard area. And I think that is something, and that is the team that I'll be looking to implement.
Yeah.
And then just to show you, if we are going to play the back three, you're gonna have your back three. You're gonna have you're gonna have Thabiso Munyani here. You're gonna have Pule. You're gonna have Pule here, and then you're gonna have your two midfielders. Gonna be a 3-4-1-2. Jele coming off the right. Actually, you might look to even put in Jele here. You put in Dai here, and actually, I'd love to change the spot. You know, I say that because now I realize that actually it's going to leave us too exposed if we have Hoto as a center back. It's impossible. So I'd actually be looking. I'm not really sure what, but I think yeah, I'd still maybe move out Hoto. Bring in your Bongani Sam.
Yeah.
Bongani Sam is still someone who's always also able to overlap and put in those quality crosses, but also staying back and being quality in terms of his defensive side. He's still decent defensively. But another option is to maybe take out Thabiso Munyane, move Vincent, put Lodge onto the left, Vincent Pula off to the right. You're going to have Lodge here, but in terms of the 4-4-2, it's going to be, you're going to have Hoto still at left back, you're going to have Lodge here, you're going to have Abel Mabaso at right back, and then Vincent Pule. Then it's going to be a back three of Mabaso, Nda, Jele. Then it's going to be Pule as your left wing back. Then you're going to have not Pule. It's going to be Hoto as your left wing back. And then you're gonna have Pule as a right wing back. You're gonna still have the same midfield pairing. You have Mosele and Kanyiso Zungu. Then you also have Lodge as your 10 drifting in and around. And then you still have your two strikers, Pepper and Kabadinho Mango. And that is what I believe is our best lineup.
Okay. So what I would do with Pirates is a bit different from what you've done. Yes. In goals, I'll stick with Mponchane. So the system then I would be looking to implement is a 4-2-3-1, but in opposition half it does become a hybrid, you know, something which is very offensive, which I'm going to show you. So in goals, I would go with Mponchane. As my right back, I would go with Wade Euster. Two centre backs, I've got Nda, I've got Jele, and then I've got Pasega Mako. And then when you have a look at my two in midfield, I've got Nkanyiso Zungu as a deep laying playmaker, and then I've got Munare. I personally really like Munare, and I think that alongside Nkanyiso Zungu, I think Munare would do a lot better. You know, I think they'd complement each other very well, because with Munare, you know, he is a player then who just looks to sit. He will clean up after any mess, and he can also then spray those passes into the two wide channels, whether you're looking at vertical zone 1 or 5, you know. And then I would have Lodge coming off the left-hand side in a free roll position. He'd occupy the half space, and then I would have Hango off the right. I would have Vincent Pule also coming in to offer the width then for Wade Euster. And then up front, I would have Mabasa. So in this way then, you'd have Marco inverting, and then it sort of goes to a back three. From a defensive perspective, then we'd have a defensive block of a 2-3. So in this case then, when these offensive players have lost the ball, it becomes very difficult then for anybody to hit Orlando Pirates on the counter, by virtue of the fact that then they would be able then to ensure that they force the opposition wide. And when they've got at least 5 players behind the ball, it becomes very difficult. And the reason why I do this then is to ensure that Orlando Pirates play on the front foot, and they play very offensive football. And they also play through the lines, and they look to play aggressive, direct and vertical, and not them being too possession-based with regards to them knocking the ball from side to side, because I feel like that's something that they've struggled with. They'd keep the ball, they'd keep the ball for long spells, but if you can keep ball possession for long and it doesn't create any chances, it's useless. So you want ball possession, which will shift opponents out of position, and then you're looking to penetrate into the final third and create chances and finish off those chances. In this way, then it would ensure that Orlando Pirates would then be able to penetrate through all 5 vertical zones. So at times it sort of becomes sort of a lopsided approach, where then they can overload within vertical zone 3. They can overload the 2 half spaces, and then you've got Marco who can invert at times because he's such a very good player. He can also go high and wide. If he goes high and wide, then you're easily looking at it from a very, very offensive perspective, and they still keep the solid defensive block of 4, where if anything happens, they're able to counter that. So this is what I would be looking to do then with Orlando Pirates. Very offensive on the front foot, where we're still able to keep the width, but you're still able then to ensure that you have the central overload and the numerical advantage within the heart of midfield. But when we do speak about players and Orlando Pirates, they keep signing, and they just sign and they sign and they keep adding. But I just feel that going forward, Orlando Pirates have to be very smart with regards to the type of players that they sign. In this January window, which players would you like to see coming to Orlando Pirates?
I think Orlando Pirates, there are 2 key positions. Personally, I'd say it's in defense. We are talking a right back and a centre back. Since I think they are still not giving chances to a few players, because I still think those solutions are still there. We're talking right back, you have Thabiso Munyane, as I had said earlier. You could also recall Nthokozisi Dube from loan from Golden Arrows. I still don't understand how you let him go. Centre back, you have the boy Thabiso Sisane, currently on loan at Jomo Cosmos. A player that never disappointed me. I think he made around 10 appearances at the latter stage of last season, and I was always impressed when I saw him. Actually, I think he was the better centre back. He was sometimes paired with Captain Jele or Tyson Tlachayo, and I think he was the better in those pairings. Imagine playing with such seasoned players and being the better in one of your first 20 appearances. So those could be solutions. I had advocated for that. But yeah, also coming in, if you're talking that we were going outside, we're trying to buy players, I think for that centre-back role, I'd be looking to bring in Nkosi CBC from Golden Arrows, experienced player, because sometimes you just need that experience. Sometimes experience is needed. We all love to sign young, but experience is sometimes a need. We have experience is sometimes a need. So I think for that role, I think Nkosi CBC will be able to help us. But in right back, I think I'm in a few minds, because I think right back is just something that we are not necessarily blessed with in terms of options. But yeah, I am just not sure. I still think that Nthokozisi Dube is still the best option, because I said beginning of the season when I was looking at players to improve us in terms of from a qualitative perspective, and I was like that. I said to people that the South African market is saturated. I just feel that it's time for teams to branch out, especially Pirates and Chiefs, if they want to gain a competitive advantage in terms of over Sundowns. You need to start opening your scouts and looking for quality players from outside the country, because you know that Sundowns are still going to be keeping up and snatching those quality players from inside our league. So it's time to expand your borders. And guess what? In the first attempt in a few years prior, guess what it brought them? Olisanda, easily one of the top 3 centre backs in my opinion in the league, having only spent six months in this league. So I think that is what we should be doing, even in that centre back position. But I think because that is difficult in January to go outside, so I'd be looking at doing that, going into outside markets for that position, the right back position and the centre back position. But for now, solutions will be, because my personal solutions will be Kosinati CBC, and then bringing Mthokozisi Dube from loan back from Arrows. So I think going to Arrows and just taking 2 players from there. But yeah, just to expand on also different signings that I'd like to maybe see us do. I still think in attack maybe something can still be added to attack, maybe to add some competition, something there. And I still think that Mendieta could be someone that could help us in terms of that perspective. He's such a quality player. He's a player that I love.
Here's my question for you though, with Orlando Pirates, because I always feel like with Orlando Pirates, especially in advanced positions, very saturated. I mean, you still have Saleng on loan, you know, who has not worn an Orlando Pirates jersey yet. You know, Pule comes back from injury. You know, you've got Dlamini. I mean, you've got so many players, you know, and some of these players have not, let's be honest, they haven't played yet for Orlando Pirates, if I could say so. You know, they haven't thoroughly shown what they can do. You know, they haven't really been given a chance. They haven't been given 10 consecutive games. You know, I've never seen Kabelo start 10 consecutive games. I'm yet to see that, you know. And when I look at him, every time I see him, I see a player in there.
Yeah.
You know, I see a player in there, you know, from a creative perspective. And he does look like he's also got an eye for goal. He can also penetrate into the final third, you know. So when you're now bringing up those names, I just think that it's a repetition of what Orlando Pirates have been doing in the past years of just stacking up every transfer window. They just keep stacking up on players, you know, and which is something that is not healthy for the squad, you know. So I just think that it goes back then to the technical team. It goes back then to the management with regards to their recruitment, which has been off, in my opinion, because how they just keep stacking in positions, even in the heart of midfield, they keep stacking, you know, and it's quite a bad thing to do because you end up with so many players now, and now it's just, let's just try this one, you know, let's just try this one it's just wishful. You know, whereas if you go out and you identify your 3 players, I want this player, I want this player, I want this player, this is how he fits into the system. But then again, that goes down to the game model. What is the game model? We're still trying to figure it out, you know, and yeah, you know, all these things tie into so many various confluences, and it leads to this then with regards to them going out and signing players and stacking, and yeah, you know, but you're still on the Junior Mendieta point.
I think I was actually going to come to the point that I just feel that I just have a feeling that we need to have a mass exodus. Anyone who is not performing in these last 6 months, I think it's time to have a mass exodus and just breeding new blood, because it seems most of these players are never going to get their chances, and I just don't want to hold back talented players. Yes, it hurts to see other players prosper at other teams you're talking about, and there are those players you're talking about, Dlamini, you're talking about Collins Makhacha, you're talking those type of players who are most probably going to prosper when they transfer out of Pirates. But I just feel that maybe it's time, because they've been here. They've never been given their chances. Just at Pirates it's just disaster. And I also think maybe that in terms of Mendieta, I think it's just a player that I love personally. But I also think you can only make the transfer if you have an exodus of talent. Yeah. But if Pirates don't sell any attacking players, then you keep on playing with Dlamini, you keep on playing with Makhacha, those type of players, you know, you just keep on pushing with them. Especially Dlamini. I also love Dlamini. I think he would be one of my first options coming on off the bench. Yeah. Because he's someone who likes to penetrate in the half spaces and also zone 14. And he's also looked lively in the games that he's come on. But they don't want to give him a chance. So I think Pirates, we are stacked in quite a number of positions. In fact, in most positions, you're looking at your left back position. You have Hoto, you have Marco, you have.
So you count Otto as a left back?
I am saying
you're adamant about this.
I don't think Koto is a winner.
Yeah.
I just don't think for such a big team. Maybe if he transfers, I think he'll be a left winger there. But I just feel for Pirates, the way I want to see Pirates play, the way I envisage Pirates, I still think Koto is a left back. You go to the center of midfield. Midfield, you have Motwari, you have Makaringe, you have Monare, you have Mosele, you have Nkanyiso Zungu, you have Spesilen Grove. 6 players for Pirates never often play a midfield 3. They play a midfield 2. 6 players for 2 positions. You're looking at your striking position. We've been having problems at striker, but look at it. We play often as 1 striker. Pepra. You have Pepra. You have who's
Lepasa.
Lepasa. Oh, when was the last time I saw Lepasa? You have Mabasa. Sniper. Mango. You have Bitumelo Radiopane from also the MDC, and these are 5 or 6 players for 1 position, and that is the problem that I'm having. And then even in those 2 10/winger runs, you have Lodge, Pule, Dlamini, you have Jukamanja, Mahaha. It's just Ntako Makubela. It's just we just have Pirates. We just have way too much, except defense. Defense is our main problem.
Yeah, centre backs. I think that's where you guys really need to look at. But anyway, Fenzo, thank you very much for coming through. I thoroughly enjoyed breaking down Orlando Pirates, especially considering how much of a fan you are of this football club.
Yes.
Every time you speak about Orlando Pirates, one can easily detect the emotion, the love, and the passion that you have for the 1937 gang. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Disky Talk with Luyo. Signing